Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Keder. As you guys know, I'm part of a new system that's actually launching out called Finish Line Network. So I'm truly excited about this video because they brought on one of my mentors that I followed online for so long. When I first came on the internet, I saw this guy crushing it. I'm like, yo, what is this guy doing? And I started following him, and some of his podcasts, some of his videos, some of his training has literally changed my life big time. I've been on his blog countless of time and just getting information, just soaking in so much information when I first got started. So when they brought him on board for this live training, I was really excited. I was there live, so I said, you know what, I gotta bring this training to you guys. You know, you guys as part of my list, that's part of my YouTube, my Facebook, part of my crew. I want you guys to watch this training. So his name is Ray Higdon. A lot of you probably know him, or if you don't know him, definitely sit back, get yourself a cup of coffee. This is not gonna be a short video, but it's gonna be fully loaded with massive value that's gonna help you take your game to the next level. So let's take it away with Ray right now.
Awesome. Well, very cool, and appreciate all those kind words. I see a lot of familiar names on here. What's up? I got a silly question. On my screen, it's the mirror reverse, but can you read my board?
We see it perfectly from our side. We're not backwards at all.
That may make it challenging, but good. Well, cool. So yeah, you know, honored to be the first trainer for you guys. And it was cool. You know, I always know that you guys, just knowing, Greg, Doug, and Chad for quite a while, and recently met, Michael and Paul, legend. And so it's, it's just super cool. I always know that you guys do things, and you do things big, and you're doing it again. And so I'm honored to be on here, and I'll just share some things. Hopefully that will help you wherever you are in your journey. Share with you what, a little bit of my journey, but some of the strategies and tactics and concepts that helped me go from struggling to, to doing fairly well. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. So hello, everyone. See so many nice hellos. So real quick, I'll just share my story. Not a big, long thing, but let's see, what part do I want to share with you today? I'm someone that I had worked my way up the corporate world to a pretty good salary. And what I found, at least in that job, is that the harder I worked, the more they would pay me, but also the more they demanded of me. And so I found myself missing family events. I found myself missing school events and things like that. And I wanted more freedom. I mean, I'd been working so hard my whole life to, for my family, but here I was missing out on important family things. And so I actually went out, and it wasn't network marketing that was the original thing that got me out of the corporate world. It was actually real estate. And so I went into real estate with some high school buddies of mine, and actually did really well. And I thought I was a genius. And then it turns out it was just a really hot real estate market. And if you had a pulse, you could make money in real estate back then here in the state of Florida. And so I wasn't equipped. I hadn't invested in coaching. And what's funny is I kind of prided myself on that. I'm like, I don't buy courses. I don't hire coaches. And because of my lack of education, when the real estate market changed, I got totally wiped out. I was way over leveraged. I had maxed out all kinds of equity and all kinds of different things. And so when I started, when I was looking at starting my network marketing career, kind of over, because I had tried network marketing in the past, really didn't know what I was doing. I had made some sales, but never created anything, long term. And I'd also tried affiliate marketing, by the way, and did even worse at that, to be honest. And at least back then. And then in 2009, I decided that, you know what, I got to do something. I'd been in a kind of depression for like a year of just hoping for things to get better, and they weren't. And so here I was in personal foreclosure, being chased by bill collectors, and over $1 million in debt. And I joined a network marketing company, and I just made a decision that I was going to become the #1 incomer of that company no matter what. I didn't care how long it would take. I didn't care how many obstacles I was going to have. I didn't care how many of my real estate friends made fun of me. Didn't matter. I was going to become the top incomer of that company. And, it took us some time, but we did become that the #1 income earner in that company. Myself and my wife actually become the #1 female earner in that company, and built that business for quite a few years. About maybe 4 years down the road, that merged into another company. Built that company for a few years, and then back 2.5 years ago, we actually retired from actively building a network marketing position to focus solely on coaching and training. And it's funny because some people, they'll say, well, why'd you get out of that? Why'd you go into coaching and training? And I'll just tell you, I mean, coaching and training is higher risk, higher overhead. There's a lot of things that go along with it. You don't get lucky. I couldn't bring in a Greg, a Doug, a Chad, and all of a sudden have thousands of people in my organization. I had to make each sale myself. And so it was harder work, but it's just where I felt my calling. I felt like we can make a difference in the profession as a whole. And so, since then we have trained quite a few, network marketers. Doug mentioned rate makers. That's our private community. We got 13,000 people in that. And so we love what we do. And we love raising the vibration of the network marketing profession, teaching people how to be professionals, and that it is a great profession. For me, between affiliate marketing, network marketing, it's the lowest risk, lowest overhead way for the average ordinary person to start a business, period. And, I know people that buy franchises. I know people that, and I bought a franchise years ago, $40,000, literally never made a dime. And so that kind of sucked. But, I know a lot of people that they look for opportunity, and it's all around us. And I love our space because we get to help a lot of people. And so, the three things that we do is, we speak at a lot of different company events, and sometimes, virtually like this. We coach bigger leaders. And so over the last 5 years, we've coached probably about maybe 25 people that were at over 100,000 people in their organization, all the way up to 700,000, 500,000, 300,000. And so it's been really, really cool. Learned a lot, and it's just been exciting. And then we also serve the masses with our training. And so some of the topics that I thought of to cover tonight, I kind of got over here. We will talk about mindset, and I will tell you that it's important to note that the answer, if you're stuck at any level, and we had about a year ago, we had clients come to us, and they were stuck at $250,000 a month. And so stuck is different for everybody, right? But I can tell you that if you're stuck at any level, it is mindset. Mindset is always the answer. It's how do you think bigger? How do you alter how you're looking at your obstacles? How do you become more resourceful? And it's always mindset, I'm telling you. And so a lot of people, they say, well, I don't need mindset training. And I just say your results show otherwise. If you're not absolutely killing it and absolutely satisfied and happy and joyful with how much money you're making, then you got a mindset issue going on. And that's okay. We all have that. But we will talk a little bit about that, because it's so important to start your business off the right way and thinking the right way. And then as you grow, there's going to be different obstacles and different mindset challenges. And I'll share with you some of ours and some of the different lessons that we've learned. We're going to talk about the buy cycle, which, if you're a savvy marketer, you probably understand this, but most people don't. Most people don't understand the buy cycle. And so we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about marketing. Many of you know attraction marketing and things like that. And I'll just share with you some nuances that have helped us. We have done very well in affiliate marketing, as well as selling our own products and coaching, as well as, of course, network marketing. We'll talk about closing. And you may think that, maybe you don't need that because you're going to use funnels and you're going to use automation and you're going to use all kinds of things. Well, I can tell you that if you do learn that piece, then you will be able to make money regardless of your following, regardless of how smart you are with marketing or technology or anything like that. And we're going to show you how I suggest closing, which is not difficult. It's really not, if you just understand some simple concepts. We'll go into leadership, and then we'll talk about thinking bigger. And I do, the whole time I'll pull up the Q&A, and if I see like an applicable question that makes sense, we'll make it happen.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about mindset, and I'll come back to that Q&A. But you have to learn to think like a business owner. And I love what Mark Cuban says. Mark Cuban says, have a commitment strategy more than an exit strategy. And in his context, he means that an exit strategy to many entrepreneurs is, I'm going to build my company up so that it's a sellable asset and then I'll sell it off. Well, I've noticed that a lot of your maybe starter home business entrepreneurs, their exit strategy is, I'm going to try this thing for 14, 28 days, and if it doesn't work, I quit. That's their exit strategy, right? Not real smart. And so I want to let you know, and I'll be correlating these different categories, and I'll be cross-referencing them. So in the realms of closing, if I was talking to someone that was looking to join my team or be a marketer underneath us or whatever, and they said something like that, well, I'll give it a shot, or we'll see, I got to make my money back in 14 days. I'll tell you how I would handle that. I would tell them, you know what, why don't you hold on to your money and just go get a steak dinner? And a lot of times they'd be like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, you're looking for magic that you've never had in your entire life, in any career you've ever had. You're looking for magic and you got the wrong expectations. I would rather you have clear expectations and you actually create a win. Going and getting a steak dinner, probably going to have a good steak dinner. That's a good expectation. That's a good idea. And often that kind of almost shock therapy would help people kind of realize that they were being ridiculous. And so the one of the things you'll hear me talk about is I never moved forward out of weakness. So I don't, if someone's saying, hey, I'm willing to join, but I'm going to give this thing 14 days. And I say, okie doke, well, then I'm moving forward out of weakness. I'm taking someone that at the end of 14 days is going to blame me. They're going to say, well, I told him I was giving it 14 days. They're looking for who can I blame today? And I also would get clarification. So if someone said to me, hey, I'll join your team, but only if you help me. Well, some people would say, sure, I'll help you. Of course, come on board. I'm going to say, well, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? What does help you mean? What does that look like? Because their version of helping them may be very different from what I'm comfortable doing or committing to. And so I want to set the expectations. If I'm in a conversation with somebody, now, obviously, some of you may be marketing, different marketing funnels or things like that have, good sales copy on the pages and things like that. And maybe it's a little bit easier for you than having to have a conversation with each and every individual that you bring on board. But I still, if I have the opportunity to find out someone's expectations, I'm going to set them correctly. And I really do. One of the things that we got from one of our clients that I really like is if people ask you, well, hey, how long will it take for me to be financially free? Well, the tendency is for you to limp into that question and for you to show up weakly and for you to show up and use a little bit of hype and say, well, that guy, Paul, man, I mean, he made, $1 million in 24 hours, man. I mean, that's what's possible, right? Well, that's not possible for the person asking that kind of question. And so I would rather alter their expectations. I would rather them get way more realistic where we may be able to beat their expectations versus lure them in with false expectations. So I'll ask them, okay, so you want to be financially free, is that correct? Yes. Okay. And how long have you been a home business entrepreneur? Well, I've been trying for the last 10 years. Okay. And so not financially free yet, is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Okay. So what if by just following a system, and you were coachable and we showed you what to do, what if it took you 5 years? But at the end of that 5 years, you were actually financially free. Do you have another option to be financially free in 5 years? And most people don't. Most people don't at all. And so you have so much power when you're talking to people and to set their expectations either the right way or the wrong way. You can focus, and if you want to make little money, little itty bitty money,
then just focus on the transaction. Focus on, let me make a sale here, let me make a sale here. But if you want to make the big income, learn to set the expectations, learn to, tell people and be honest with them, because they'll appreciate that, and learn to create a culture and a community of people that are going to run for the long term. I want people to run with me for the long term. I don't want to just get the little bonus. I want the monthly bonus forever, for the next 30 years. That's what I want. I don't want the little rinky-dink bonus of, whatever you get, with the initial sign up. And that's whatever company, whether you're promoting, Finish Line, whether you're promoting something else or whatever. I want the money as long as they live money, not just the sign up bonus. And if you start thinking more like that, you will find yourself doing less work to make more money. And so mindset. And I'll give you an example of a poor mindset. So I mentioned to you that once upon a time I bought a franchise. Well, it was an advertising franchise. And I will tell you, one great thing did come out of that franchise. So this was probably 11 years ago. 11 years ago, me and a partner who, we kind of saw what was happening with real estate, and we were definitely worried, and we thought, buy a franchise, right? Let's diversify. As not the smartest idea, but we bought an advertising franchise. It was $40,000. And for that $40,000, by the way, we got 10 empty ad frames and a manual. And the manual, when you opened it, said basically, you have very little chance of making money. Right? It seemed to say it over and over and over and over. And so, didn't pump us up, didn't hype us, didn't tell us how rich we were all going to be, told us how difficult it was going to be and how there's a very good chance we would lose all the money, and which we did. And so, however, something good happened. So 11 years ago, we buy that advertising franchise. Well, that franchise was based out of Minnesota, but the owner had a house in Fort Myers, Florida. And so we come over. He happened to be down in my area. I live in Fort Myers, Florida, and I come. We come over to meet him, and we come into the neighborhood, the community, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It was the most amazing community I've ever been in, and it's the most amazing community I've been in since. And so I come in, and we meet with them, and the whole time I'm looking at the clubhouse and the pool, and they ship sand from Destin. It's like 8 hours away, I believe. They ship all this sand in Destin, and they may have all these man-made beaches everywhere, all throughout the community, 700-acre lake, and it's just amazing. And that day, 11 years ago, I set a goal to live in that community. And that's where we built our house. And so something good did come from that, buying that franchise. And it is the only community in the state of Florida that was ever voted the #1 community in the United States by the Builders Association. And it's one that I think maybe 3 times. And so something good did come from that. I came up with where I wanted to live and where we currently live. But with that advertising franchise, our mission was to sell advertising to local businesses, okay? And I remember going to a restaurant. I go to this restaurant, and it's got a big banner, and it says grand opening, okay, grand opening. And so, not to get too lost in the details here, but basically what we would do is we would hook up restaurants. We would actually cover their costs so that we could sell ads into that restaurant, okay? So we would cover their costs, we would take care of them, wouldn't cost them anything, but we would sell ads of people that wanted to maybe a taxi company, maybe a whatever, right? So whatever, these other companies that might want to sell in there, an attorney, things like that. And so I go to the owner, and again, grand opening, very nice large restaurant. And so I gave the pitch, and I said, hey, it doesn't cost you a dime. We put your advertising all around town. We want to drive business to you. And all you got to do, fill this out. We'll hang up some ads, and we'll even design your ad for you. We do everything for you. And she wouldn't sign it. And she's like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, really? I'm like, you understand it, right? I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. We do all the work. We cover the costs. We advertise you all around town. You're a brand new restaurant. You get that, right? And she's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, why is that? And she said, well, it says here that it's a 5-year contract, and we don't know if we'll be around in 5 years. Well, think about that. grand opening, not sure if I'll be here in 5 years. And sure enough, they weren't. And so I'm here to tell you that more than likely, whatever business you're doing, you spent way less than they did. I guarantee you. With the furniture, with the neon signs, with the commercial lease, with the bar, with the brick oven, with the lighting, with the staff, with the chefs. I am almost positive that everyone on here spent less money than that restaurant, yet wouldn't commit to free advertising, okay? Because they weren't sure if they're going to be around 5 years. So if you have that thought, then like my man Eric says, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, George Zalke said decades ago, he said, the thinker thinks and the prover proves. If you're thinking that you're not going to make it, if you're thinking that I don't know if I'm going to be here in 5 years, then you're going to prove that, unfortunately, okay? You're going to prove that. And so you have to have the mindset that I'm going to build something that is mega profitable, that is going to impact my life and the lives of others. It's going to help my family for the rest of my life. I have great, great, great grandchildren that are going to be born and look up and point to the family tree and say, that was Uncle Ray, whatever, right? You have to think that way. You have to think that you are creating something that is going to impact nations. It's going to impact countries, that, you know, people are going to sing songs to you, that, you know, there's going to be all these different people that pay homage to you. One of my very, very good friends, Mark Hoverson, unfortunately passed away. He passed away a few weeks ago. And, you know, I've never been to a funeral that they live streamed. And there were so many people that paid homage to Mark. There's so many people that sent love to the family, that sent flowers, that sent gifts, that did so many different things because he made an impact while blood was running through his veins. He made an impact. You know, he stood for something. You have to stand for something. And maybe you're in a place where that's hard to believe. A lot of people, they'll come up to me and they'll say, you know, hey, you know, you don't understand, man, I'm 30,000 in debt. And I'm like, wow, good for you for having such control. I was $1 million in debt. I mean, literally a homeless person was $1 million wealthier than I was. Seriously, that's true. And so, you know, maybe you're in a spot where it's hard for you to believe. Well, I can tell you with just absolute certainty, someone in a worse position than you has created success anyway. And so I'm going to give you 2 words that I embraced and that have built us out of the tough times, okay? And it's 2 words, okay? The word until and the word despite. I was going to show up until I created success. I was going to show up until I was able to spoil my girlfriend at the time, right? So when I was dead broke, I'd gone through a divorce. I'd been engaged, disengaged. I don't know if that's a term, but that's what I call it. And I was dating Jessica, who's now my amazing wife. And so she was finishing up college, working at the makeup counter, paying my utility bills. And which didn't make me feel much of a man, right? It wasn't feeling too masculine. And then when she introduced me to her parents and they're like, what does he do again? He's trying to find himself, right? So it just wasn't a pretty picture. She should have ran. Fortunately, something kept her around. And so, but I dreamt every single night, I dreamt of spoiling her. Every night I dreamt of, you know what, there's going to be a time where I just spoil her. And I remember when it all kind of started happening. I remember one Valentine's Day, we went from the year before not doing hardly anything. I mean, I don't remember what we even did. It was just so a non-event to renting a helicopter, landing on a golf course, strutting into the restaurant. People are like, are they celebrities? Like they thought we were celebrities, right? And, you know, renting 80-foot yachts, taking her all around. You know, the first, you know, we have a 2.5-year-old, she'll be 3 here in a week or so. And, you know, her first, you know, boat she was on was an 80-foot yacht. Her first plane was a private jet. I mean, she knows things that I didn't know the first, you know, 30-some years of my life, but she knows in the first couple of years. And so I dreamt of a day of spoiling her, and that day did come, you know, and it's something that you have to hold on to, those things that you truly want in your life, and you have to keep showing up until you get there. Now, I found that until isn't enough. That's why we come up with the word despite, okay? So I was going to create success despite my bad childhood. I was going to create success despite that my friends and family thought I was an idiot for leaving real estate, right? I was going to do it despite, all the different challenges that I'd had in my life. Didn't finish high school on time, never finished college, was starting off, $1 million in debt, personal foreclosure, bill collectors chasing me. And so I was going to make it happen despite all those things. And then I was going to make it happen despite new things that would pop up. And, we've had a lot of different things that have happened over the years. When you create success, whatever that looks like to you, there's still going to be kicks to the shin. There's still going to be punches to the face. And if you have the fortitude of preparing your mind that you're going to go until and you're going to do it despite, then you'll get past those things. If you don't, then you're going to get crippled. You're going to get hobbled by the smallest, most insignificant thing. I know so many people that, one of their friends or family members didn't believe in them, so they quit on their dreams. It makes no damn sense to me. It makes no damn sense. And so you have to understand that the people that I've met over the years that are mega successful, whether it's one of our clients, Jeff, he has 500,000 people in his organization. Whether it's our clients, Angel and Ryan, who now generate over $500,000 a month in income with their network marketing company, whoever, right? They have had massive, massive challenges. It is not a lack of obstacles or an abundance of support. So you got to stop wishing for that stuff. Stop wishing for a lack of obstacles. Stop wishing for if only more people supported me. Stop doing that. And instead focus on where you want to go and what you can do to positively impact the marketplace. And whether that's through offering a product, a service, your opportunity, coaching, whatever it is that you're going to offer the marketplace, focus on how do you bring value to the marketplace, not what people owe you, not what you feel entitled to, not that you helped your best friend move in college and you baked him a pie last week and they should join you. They should. Everyone, and if you assume this, you'll be way better off by thinking it. If you assume everyone is what's in it for me, then you'll be a better marketer. I don't, I've had people that work for me say, Ray, man, I'm going to work for you forever, man. I love working for you. And I tell them, I say, work for me as long as it serves you. If I do something that no longer serves you, then you shouldn't be here. You got one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. I don't even feel entitled to my own marriage. I feel like I need to earn that every single day. I spoil her. I don't have casualties by being casual. I earn it. I give her compliments every single day. I bring her flowers every single week. I do nice things for her all the time because I don't feel like, hey, you promise, so no, I'm entitled to that. No. I got to earn it. I got to earn it just like I do with my clients, just like I do with my students, just like I do with friends, just like I do with people that work for us. We got to serve them. That's when they'll stick around. If I think about what's in it for them and I take care of them and solve their problems, help them attain their desires, then I have a better chance of them sticking around. And if you have that mindset, then you're just going to be a better marketer. You're going to be a lot smarter business owner than most people. Most people walk around with expectations that are unrealistic and this entitlement that, the world owes them something or whatever. And the world doesn't owe you anything. You show up and you go get it every single day or you don't. That's your call. And so we'll come back around to more kind of mindset stuff, but I encourage you to embrace these words until and despite. So let's talk. I wanted to jump into buy cycle. Michael, how are we doing? You see any questions that jumped out that you think I should tackle?
No, I think we're good. Everybody's really engaged in what you're saying, letting us know they got tons of value coming in. So I would say just keep moving forward.
Okay. So, and I forget exactly where I learned this. There's so many different sources of where I've learned stuff. Know that hardly anything that I'm going to tell you here tonight is my original stuff. It's things that I've learned. And I'll tell you, I would encourage you, there is a word that is one of my superpowers. And I am very elastic. Okay. And what I mean by that is I could attend a candlestick marketing workshop and come out with ideas for marketing Facebook Lives about marketing, right? So I don't have to be told, okay, you market Hubble figurine, so here's exactly what you got to do to market a Hubble figurine. And there's a lot of people that they're like, well, what about this, right? So they're like, well, what about travel, or what about, and it's like, if you embrace elasticity and you understand things like the buy cycle that I'll talk about here in a second, then you can sell whatever you want. You can sell anything. You can sell coaching, you can sell training, you can sell health and wellness products, you can sell gym membership, you can sell whatever you want. But I would encourage you to be more elastic, because if you're someone that like an employee mindset, okay? So an employee mindset, they come in and they're like, okay, what button do I press on the fryer? This one. Okay, well, what temperature is it? This temperature, right? Okay, how many patties do I put in the thing? This many. And so if you require exact, this is my situation, you got to tell me exactly how to do this, then you're probably going to struggle. You're probably going to struggle to find people that will take you to that next level. Whereas I could sit on in a completely non-related workshop and learn something. When I'm watching movies, a lot of times I'll learn like, ooh, that's a good phrase right there. And I'll use that phrase in an email the next day. You guys do that, Greg? I saw Greg nod his head, right? And so if you're more elastic, you start to, like Bruce Lee says, you move like water, right? And so you look at examples in the real world. You look at, what other people are doing that's totally not related exactly to your product or service, but you can learn from what they're doing. You can be more elastic. And so, but let's talk about the buy cycle. So if you think about it like this, okay? And this would be, ready to buy. And this would be, let's say, no way, Jose, all right? And so if this is the buy cycle, okay? And, either it's over here and it's like, no way, Jose, I'll never buy it. Or it's like, oh, God, here's my credit card, take it already. Okay, so, and then in between here. So there's always going to be a percentage over here. There's some percentage that will never buy your product, service, or opportunity. And what's interesting to me is a lot of times, so let's just say it's like maybe, I don't know, 5%. Maybe 5%, regardless of if you're smooth as silk, like Eric Bechtold, or you're, just super amazing, marketer or whatever, that no matter your superpower, your ability to hypnotize or anything like that, 5% never going to buy. Just not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. Now, what's funny is I'll see people spend all kinds of time with these people. They'll say, you're in a scam. And they'll say, no, it's like corporate America. It's like a pyramid, and there's managers and this and that. And they'll spend all this time trying to convince someone and get their approval, agreement, or acceptance. And that's a total mistake. It's a total mistake. Like, I know this will sound weird, but I love it. I love it when I can quickly rule someone out. That's a blessing to me, man. One of the guys that taught me sales years ago, he says, yeses and nos are fine, but maybes starve babies. And there's a lot of people that they'll take someone who's a no way Jose, but in their mind, it's like, oh, that's a maybe, and they'll pour all this energy into them. They'll send them one more sample. They'll tell, hey, there's a new interview with our company founder. Like they're constantly focused on this person that will never buy. It'll just never, ever buy. And so these are people I'm grateful for. If someone says, oh, you're going to hell, or that's a scam, or that's this or that, I'm like, oh, cool. Hey, cool. Awesome. Not a fit for you, but best of luck to you. Thank you. And like in my head, I'm like, yes. I'm like, I love that stuff, man. I love it when I recognize someone who will never move forward so I can save my time. So I can say, now I don't insult them, by the way. I don't talk down to them. I don't say, oh, you're J-O-B, right? Like, I just hate that. I hate people that bash jobs. Just so you're aware, if you're a job basher and you use J-O-B just so we're broke, you're going to turn off a percentage of the population that would have bought from you. Because there are people that like their jobs. There are people that like it. And, you know, what the heck, you know, why not? You know, they're okay. I'm not mad. It's kind of like, you know, would I be mad if I use, you know, chicken soup for my cold and they use echinacea? I'm not like, how dare you? You should be using chicken soup. I don't care. Use whatever the hell you want. I'm going to use what I want. You use whatever the hell you want. Who cares? And so stop spending time on the no way Jose's. And as soon as you find out no way Jose, cool, awesome, best of luck to you. I gotta run this way. No big deal, okay? Now, here's the big problem with this is most, well, I don't even say most, amateurs, they market like everyone is over here, okay? So they market like, you know, and by the way, this, you know, just to make it simple, you probably got 1 to 2% that are they're just ready to buy. They've been looking up Finish Line, or they've been looking up your company, and they're just like, man, who do I purchase from? You know, Martha, I'm going to go on Facebook today and I'm going to find whoever's link and just join. Well, there are people like that, but it's a very, very small percentage. The problem with the marketing that assumes that is it turns off everyone else. And so if I say, hey, y'all ready to join my team? Here's my link. Right? If that's the extent of my marketing, then might I find the very small percentage, and it might even be 0.1, 0.2%. It's a very small percentage. Might I find them? I might, but what's the problem? The problem is I turn off all those other people because it looks hypey, it looks spammy, it just doesn't look good. And so this percentage right here is where you want to stay. And this is needs more information, okay? They just need more information. And they aren't aware of the benefits of your product or service. They're not aware of what your product, service, or opportunity could do for their life, okay? So they're not ready to buy, but with a little bit of information, they might be able to move forward and eventually buy, okay? And so if you focus on this right here, people that are looking for the benefits of your product, service, or opportunity, then you're going to turn off very few, okay? Very few people will be turned off if you focus on this in your marketing. And I should probably explain what that is. I don't want to make assumptions here. So marketing is you doing something you hope an unnamed individual reacts or responds to. So marketing could be a flyer in the coffee shop. It could be a drop card. It could be a Facebook Live. It could be a blog post, a podcast. It's something you hope some unnamed individual reacts or responds to it. Status update, billboard, letters in the mail, you know, whatever, okay? Prospecting, which we can talk a little bit about, is where you're reaching out to an individual. And it's very important, especially if you're new. If you're not making much money at all, then I would highly encourage you to not just lean on your marketing to hopefully get people to reach out to you, but to actually go and get the sales, to reach out to people. So my history when I started, I didn't come in with some big brand. I didn't come in with some big email list or some following or anything like that. Didn't have a Facebook page, didn't have an email list, didn't have, I had a website, but it was really bad. In fact, I remember in 2000, I think 11 maybe? No, probably 2010. I remember I went to this event and someone said, yeah, you guys should be blogging. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just look at Ray's blog. That's the ugliest site I've ever seen. I'm like, what? It is? Like, that hurt me. I was like, man, that's not cool. And so I didn't have any of those things. And so I knew I wanted to get leads. I knew that I wanted people reaching out to me, but I had to put food on the table, man. I was sick of eating Dollar Burger Night at Bar Louie and sometimes upgrading to the guacamole. Often I could not, but I was sick and tired of that. And I wanted to make money now. And so I read a book called Go for No, which, I don't know if we have it around here. But I read a book called Go for No, which I've actually co-authored. Oh, here we go. I read a book called Go for No, and I'm like, you know what? That just makes sense. And so I went for 20 no's a day by prospecting, by reaching out to people, people I knew, people I didn't know. I mean, I recruited people on, MySpace, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TripAdvisor, Twitter. I recruited $1 million earner off of Twitter who was arguing with me, telling me I was an idiot. It's kind of cool. But, and so like I followed this, I went for 20 no's a day, and I did a video every single day, sometimes two. You know, the Go for No guys like my story so much that I actually co-authored a book with them. So I since co-authored a book called Go for No for Network Marketing with them. But I wasn't just resting on my marketing laurels. I wasn't just saying, I sure hope this stuff works. I knew eventually it would work, but I wanted to get there faster. And so some of the very best people that I got in my organization, I got from reaching out to them and answering the phone and picking up the phone and reaching out to others. And I know some people are, you know, terrified of the phone nowadays. And, you know, you will lose a percentage of your sales if you're absolutely not willing to get on the phone, but you can still do very well without getting on the phone nowadays. I wouldn't have said that years ago, but now you can. But I'm just telling you, you don't know who you might miss if you absolutely refuse to get on the phone. That's just my take. All right. That's just my take. And so, but it's important. If you're on here and you're not making money like at all, then I wouldn't just rest on my marketing. I wouldn't just do that, but let's talk about that. So needs more information. And this is, if you've studied any kind of marketing in any capacity, you've heard people say, you gotta share the benefits, not the features. And I found that most people don't understand that. Like, you know, they understand that these are two words that aren't spelled the same, but that's the extent of what they actually understand, right? And so they're like, well, this one isn't spelled like this one, but they don't understand the benefits of either. So I'm going to give it to you a little differently, okay? And I think this is easier to comprehend, is the, you know, amateurs will focus on, okay, they'll focus on what it is. So what is it? Well, it's a travel membership, or it's a marketing system, or it's a, you know, vitamin E with DL alpha tachytrienols, it's pycnogenol, resveratrol, is blah, 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 right? And there's always a tiny percentage of nerds that really like that stuff. Like, ooh, it's got the new pea protein, man. That's awesome. You know, and it's a tiny percentage, like even, you know, maybe around the same percentage as this. But there's a whole host of people that would love to know the benefits, which is benefits. So this would be, you know, a feature, right? But a benefit would be what it does, okay? So I find that this is usually simpler for people to comprehend, is what it is, okay, is, you know, it's a split pea protein with whey protein isolate, and it's got branched chain amino acids in it, and yawn, right? What it does is it grants you more power. It gives you more energy. It allows you to go hitchhiking, or not hitchhiking maybe, but hiking with your grandchildren. If this is taken appropriately and you follow the directions, when you're walking down the beach, your ex is going to see you and their jaw's going to drop to the floor and they're going to say, what did I do, right? That's what it does, okay? So what it does is what everyone's after. Okay, they're after what does it do? How does it help me? How does it help me in my life? How does it help me with my kids? How does it help position me in a more powerful way with others? How does it grant me recognition, significance? There's a lot of people they chase significance so much. And so if we know that the masses want significance and they want to feel like they're making a difference while there's blood pumping through their veins, and they want to feel like they're making an impact and that they're important to society, then why wouldn't we build those kind of things into what our product does? And so I would highly encourage you, don't just market what it is. It's a makeup. It's a, you know, hair care, it's a skin care, it's a whatever. This will grant you the confidence to walk into that room that you used to be afraid of, and people will look upon you and say, oh my goodness, who is that, right? That's what it does. These are the things, not the ingredients on the bottle. These are not the things that are inside the whatever it is. And so many people, they get caught up on, what it is, which is very weak marketing. But what it does, more people want. And I just want to point this out to you. If you're on here, then more than likely. I don't understand why you would be if you weren't, but you're a home business entrepreneur in whatever, maybe you're an affiliate marketer, maybe you're a network marketer, maybe you're a coach, trainer, whatever, right? You have the ability to make money from home. You have the ability to show others how to make money from home, okay? You need to understand that you are the prize, not them. See, we treat everyone else as they're the prize. Like, oh, pretty please join my deal, or oh, please take a look at my video, right? And we treat everyone else like they're the prize. Like, oh, we should really seek after them, and I really hope I can get them and fandangle them into looking at my deal. Well, know that most people out there have problems, no solutions. You have solutions. Now, it's up to you if you do it. Right? You can always elect not to. You can elect not to do your homework, not to reach out to people, not to do any marketing or Facebook Lives or anything like that. You can elect not to do anything. Sure, that's your prerogative. At least you got the possibility. At least you have the possibility of making an unlimited amount of income. And that most people don't have that. So in my my last job, the org chart didn't have a position that said, I say, human resources director, what's this one right here? Oh, well, that's the one where you have unlimited income and you can choose when to show up, whether you do or not. I never had that. I never found that. I took a magnifying glass to the org chart. I never found it, right? Because that wasn't a possibility in that career. That is a possibility with home business. Now it's up to you. It's up to you. But too many people, we allow our power to be granted to others, and we walk away like we're the weaklings. They have problems with no solution. So if I look at myself in the corporate world, I wanted to make more money so I could me and my family could be more comfortable. I wanted to travel more. I wanted to spend more time with my family. None of those were an option in that job. So I had problems, no solution, okay? So I had to leave that career to go in hunt of those solutions, but you have those solutions right at your beck and call. You can say, hey, I have this thing. If you follow the directions and you show up enough and you give it enough time and effort and energy and you got the right mindset, you can solve all of your problems that you've ever had. And that's power, because most people you see, they have problems, no solutions, nothing they can do about it. They don't have the kind of money to, this year was the first year we did this, but, we went up to, Michigan for a month, in the summer, and just went up there, and lakes and cherry pies and all kinds of, cool stuff up there. We were in Traverse City, which apparently is the cherry capital of the world. And so we had a blast. It was so much fun. We went to, what's that place called? Mackinac Island, where they filmed some movie I've still never seen, but it was so awesome. It was so cool. And that just wasn't a possibility in past lives. I couldn't just go off for a month and just goof off with family and work less than 2 hours a day every single day. And so you have solutions. You just got to help people understand that. And so let's get back to this though. Needs more information. Okay. So just think that your product or service, your opportunity, whatever it is that you're marketing, there's a whole host of people that aren't ready to hand you money, but if only they had more information, they would then want to join. If only they knew what it did, how it would help them, how it would solve their problems, then they would be willing to give you money and move forward. And so your marketing needs to be in this angle. It needs to be right here. You need to focus on this. And you can have different calls to action. You can have conversations that may lead people from, oh, thank you for that information. Now I want to, go check this out. And so let me share with you some actual examples, because I know even though I preached elasticity, I know some people right now are, Forever in Time. Exactly. That's the movie. I still haven't seen it. I need to see it. And what's funny is I just got hired to go speak at an event at the Grand Hotel at some point. I don't know. I think it's next year maybe. But let me show you some examples. Okay. So what's some things, and Michael, maybe you can help me out, but what are some things that you guys are marketing? So like, give me some you know, let's pick one example, and we'll do a couple examples, and I'll just tell you how I would implement that kind of marketing that I'm talking about.
Yeah, guys, just put in the chat over there just some ideas of things, because in Finish Line Network, we're really focused on teaching people how to market really anything online.
Anything.
So
right,
just put them in the chat there.
Yeah. So I'll look at. Okay, so let me see how I can pull this up. Oh, okay. All right. So let's do baby supplements. How about that? So baby supplements. All right. So you really, the amount of creativity you have to have nowadays is just not, it's just not a whole lot. And so because you have, I'm going to tell you a secret, and it's a secret website very few know about, and it's called Google, right? And so we have Google, that's G, 2 O's, G-L-E. And so let's just talk about like baby nutrition or something, right? So if I wanted to sell the heck out of, like baby nutrition, actually, you know what? Let me look for tips. So I like to look for like, tips. Okay, what am I doing now? They're trying to get me all political now. All right, you never know what these guys are doing. Okay, so let's look for tips. If I can do this right. Okay. All right, so I'm just looking on Google. I searched, okay. Let's see if we can just find a couple easy ones. So I just clicked this blog. It said 6 tips, okay. These aren't that great of tips. Let me find a better one. Okay, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Let's just make up some tips, right? So let's say that they say, hey, don't feed them solid foods until they're 6 months. You want to make sure if you're going to give them milk, you may want to test it out to see their, how allergic they are to it or whatever. But I would take 2 minutes. And again, what is it? So, give me a second here. So what it is I'm selling baby supplements. Okay. I know that handwriting is not fantastic, but I'm selling baby supplements, right? So that's what it is. Okay. What does it do? So what it does, okay, healthy baby without fear of something majorly going wrong, right? And so, that's, what it does is have a healthy, functioning baby that later on will be super smart. So maybe with a little bit of Googling, I find a topic that is so 4 tips to a smarter baby. Okay. So if I'm selling, let's think about the bicycle. Okay, there's ready to buy. Okay, needs more info. So what would the amateur ready to buy person post? They would post where to buy baby supplements, right? Or they would say the best baby supplement to buy. And so some people might buy that. It's possible, but how could I get more? How could I get more? So I'm willing to bet that a parent that cares Now, are there some that'll never buy, right? Let's do our No Way Jose. Okay. So the person that just doesn't care if their baby is smart or not, like, that's hopefully a very small percentage of people. Okay. Like hopefully more parents want smarter babies, like, but the person that just doesn't care, I don't care, whatever. I mean, I didn't grow up with any supplements, whatever. Right. So the No Way Jose's probably not going to tune into this Facebook Live. If it was a Facebook Live, if it was a podcast, if it was a YouTube video, if it was a whatever, okay? An article, could be an article, okay? And so 4 tips to a smarter baby. And so what is it that I want to do? I want to drive them to purchase. That's what I want to do. But I know that people need more information, okay? And so I'll actually give you some real tips here. Why not? So if I was doing this and I was selling baby supplements, and again, I realize probably a tiny percent of you are selling baby supplements, right? Be a little bit elastic here. But 4 tips to a smarter baby, I might say, number 1, start reading the right books. And there's 2 books, and this is a true story, 2 books that I suggest for any parent of children either not born or 0 to 6, okay? And so that would be one by Dana Suskind. Suskind. It's called 30 Million Words. So they did decades of studies of underprivileged homes versus, more affluent homes. And one of the main differences is over the span of the years, the kids in the affluent homes heard 30 million more words. Okay. And so there's a lot of powerful psychology stuff in that book on how to be a better parent. Okay. And so number 2 would be how to multiply your baby's intelligence. And this is by the Domans out of Philadelphia. Since the 1950s, they've been running a human performance academy or arena, or I don't know what they call it, but teaching babies to read at age 1, creating violin, concerto gurus at age 3. And it's really amazing. And so it's an amazing organization. But step number 1 could be read better books, right? If you want to be a better parent, read better books, leads to a smarter baby. So give them some book things. Number 2, know how to communicate with your child. So ask them questions, okay? So you ask a question, wait for them to try to reply. And so come up with another tip. And the last tip I would say is give them the right kind of supplements. And, there's a lot of, you can go to Walgreens or CVS and get, supplements that, some of them have sawdust in them. Some of them don't match the labels. Some of them may actually harm your baby. But if you're serious, with the nutritional value in today's world, the nutrition of a strawberry today is way less than it used to be 30 years ago. And so most people, to really reach optimal smartness for your baby, you're going to have to ingest some additional supplements, perhaps as the parent, and also give to your baby. And, I have done tons and tons of research on the right baby supplements to purchase. If you'd like my take and you'd like the consumer guide to purchasing baby supplements, feel free to reach out to me, and absolutely free. I'll send it to you, no charge. Just send me a little private message or drop me a comment below. I want the baby supplements. Okay. And so what is it that I'm doing? I'm taking people, okay, that, maybe weren't ready to buy, needed more information, and I'm moving them forward. Okay. Now, if you're fancy pants and you got a funnel page all set up and it's they can just download the consumer guide to baby supplements, just enter the name and email, then rock and roll. You can send them over there. I would still be willing to have a little conversation with them. And, by the way, this, again, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be smarter baby. 4 tips to save money on vacations. 4 tips to sell cell phones. 4 tips to 4 tips to finding the right leads for your business if you're selling lead packages and things like that, right? And so, I'm going to look at, okay, what is it? What can I offer to get people attracted to me? Give them some value. Now, notice when I gave you the 4 tips to smarter babies, I gave you some actual value. I said, go get these 2 books. They're very good. Gave you a couple other suggestions. So I'm going to give value. And easy way, the word value is thrown around a lot, nowadays. How I view value is, does the person walk away with education or entertainment, whether they buy or not? And so, like, you know, over the years, we've built, you know, pretty large, you know, emails. I mean, not compared to, you know, some of these guys on here, but, you know, we've built, you know, email lists of hundreds of thousands. And in that hundreds of thousands, not everyone bought, but that's okay, because enough did. Enough bought for us to, you know, make a living, for us to be able to do the things that we wanted to do, and work closer with the right kind of people. And so it's something that you're always moving people from, do they have any kind of interest in the benefits, right? Am I selling a smarter baby? I'm not selling a smarter baby. I'm selling something that would help produce a smarter baby if I'm selling baby supplements. And so the same thing with weight loss, the same thing with getting in better shape, the same thing with, you know, what kind of, you know, the 4 ingredients that you have to avoid in shampoo if you want your hair to last. You know, here's the 4 things to avoid if you don't want your hair to fall out, right? And so, you know, it doesn't have to have the number 4 in it. I'm just giving that an example, but it's you. Do not. Notice how I didn't say, hello, Ray Higdon here, and I've been a pediatrician for the last 27 years. I'm not actually positioning myself as an expert. Now, that's a nuance that most people don't understand, because they read generic branding courses that don't understand duplication. So if you're a network marketer wanting duplication, anything that positions you as an expert or credible may actually hurt your duplication. And so I would say, hey guys, I was on a website the other day and I found these tips. Can anyone go on any website anywhere and get some tips from it? Of course, of course. You know, we created years ago, we created this, you know, this term called ILT, right? It stands for Invest, Learn, Teach. And, you know, it's anybody can do this. And the reason that I know anyone can do this is, you know, I remember my stepdad, very blue collar to the gills, nice guy, been, you know, blue collar, hard worker his whole life, right? I don't believe he's ever read, you know, like a business book or a sales book or a marketing book or anything like that. That's just not his deal. It's just not the, you know, he probably read Stephen King and some, you know, some other things, but, you know, not a business guru here. And I remember he came over and he said, you know, I saw that Matt Damon documentary. I'm like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, man, we're really screwed. Did you know that? He starts spewing out these facts at me. And I'm like, wow, man, anybody in ILT. This guy watched that documentary. He's spitting out facts and numbers at me that, I mean, it just tells me no matter your background, no matter where you are, anyone can go anywhere and you know, read a book, come out with a few tips. Go on a website, come out with a few tips. And so I would suggest, whereas in the past, our message wasn't as precise as this, in that, but if you're in network marketing, I would be very careful to set yourself up as an expert. In fact, I've told doctors, get this, because, you know, some doctors, maybe not all, maybe have a little bit of an ego, right? It's doctor, not Mr., right? And so I've told doctors that if they're in network marketing and want more duplication, to start telling people they work in a hospital. Yeah, man, you know, I've been working in a hospital the last few years, and, you know, I don't know everything about this thing, but all I do is this. And so I want, if you're in network marketing, and I know not everyone is, but if you're in network marketing, then your mission is actually not to sell the Fast Start Kit. It's not. It's to get them to buy into the idea that they can do what you can do. And that's a nuance. Not everyone gets that. Not everyone understands that. And so that's something that's kind of fun. So no matter what it is that you're marketing, I would just ask myself, what's on the, you know, if baby supplements is here, let's just pick a different one. Let's say that you got the world's greatest tasting, greatest for you, you know, protein shake, right? So you're selling the most amazing protein shake of all time. And so I want to ask myself, what the person that's going to buy protein shakes, what's on the outskirts, and what is going to attract them to me? Like, what is the person that buys protein shakes? What are they interested in? So they're probably interested in maybe a meal plan. Maybe they're interested in exercises. Maybe they're interested in how to increase their bench press. Maybe they're interested in, how to prepare their healthy meals, right? I'm going to ask myself, the person that might buy this, what is it that they're interested in? Okay. And so that's going to become the titles for my Facebook Lives, for my videos, to get them over to me. And then I'm going to say, hey, by the way, if you're on here and you're looking for full nutrition, I'd suggest a protein shake, and maybe you got one that you love, but I actually have one that I've researched and I think you'd really like it. It tastes yummers, and feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to know more information. Okay. And so I'm going to take my information, I'm going to do Facebook Lives and things like that to attract people to me, suggest something to them without giving them the name. Now, if I'm in a Facebook Live, I'm not going to say the name of the protein. I'm not going to say the company name either, because I don't want to grant them the power to do their own independent research. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So, no way, Jose. All right. Seeing some good questions. Any jump out at you yet, Michael?
Not specifically, other than one person did request if their company has multiple product lines, should they lead with the business side then, or should they still really always lead with the products?
So leading, assuming it's maybe probably a network marketing company, I would assume, leading with products is usually a better idea because there are more consumers than there are consumer entrepreneurs. Okay, so there are more people that watch the Kardashians than Shark Tank, and so where you would weigh that in is, when I started network marketing, people knew me for business. Like, I was in real estate, had an advertising brand. People knew me for business. And at that time they still thought I was successful, which I was dead broke. And so, like, if people know you for business and you're known to talk about the latest issue of Entrepreneur Magazine, you're known to talk about hey, did you see that pitch on Shark Tank? Then it's probably very natural for you to talk about the business opportunity and making money. Now, if you're not known for that, then it's going to be very awkward. If you're usually talking about what you're crocheting, or you're talking about can you believe that Chloe did this, or did you see her hair? If you're talking about, those kind of things, or you're talking about monster trucks, right? Not to pick on the ladies, but you're talking about, you always talk with your buddies about non-business related things. Then when it comes to your warm market, I would probably lean more on products. Now cold market, people online that don't know you, they don't know your resume. So you kind of get your choice. But at the end of the day, I would still say that there are more consumers than there are consumer entrepreneurs. When you have lots of different products, that can be a very tough sale. So I remember a few years ago, an insurance company hired me, and they wanted me to help them with their kind of sales pitch, their marketing and stuff like that. And they had, home insurance, car insurance, life insurance, shoe insurance, hand insurance. They had all kinds of insurance, right? Everything. And so they had this terrible postcard that was like, these are all the insurances we carry. And, it's just crazy. And by the way, I used to live in Bokeelia. I see Deb saying Bokeelia. I used to live in Bokeelia. I used to live off of, Thigpen, I think was the name. But anyway, I digress. But, they had this terrible marketing that was like, here's all the different insurances that we carry. And I said, okay, stop that. And instead, what is the one that either you're known for, or you would like to be known for, or is the most profitable, or whatever, right? And so they went with life insurance. Not a big surprise. That's a big money maker for a lot of people. And so they marketed their life insurance. When someone came in the front door and got life insurance with them, I then taught them to say something like, well, hey, for your convenience, and something we only do for our clients is we actually help you consolidate some of your other insurances. And, we give you VIP rates of all these other insurances. Now that you're a customer, would you like to go ahead and consolidate? See, once they're in the door, that's a much easier sell than saying, here's all the things that we do. And so if I was in a company that had a whole bunch of products, I would pick one that I really, really like. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to always be that one. Might I do, like one of our clients, she's in makeup and, makeup. And so like, might she do a Facebook Live that leads to mascara at the end of it, and then next week do one on eyeliner? I don't know. Yeah, you can do that. But what I wouldn't do is try to market all of the different products. Okay, all the different products. I would focus on one. What's one that really stands out that you really, really like? I would focus in on that one. Be willing to be adaptable in later times or whatever. Does that make sense? Is this helpful so far? Looking at
no, that's perfect. Another question here that I'll let you answer live, because I think it's where a lot of people get stuck, is Jason asks, he had been sharing his product with a customer. They sounded really interested. They wanted more information. Sounded like they were ready to buy, but now they can't get a hold of him. They won't return his messages, and he can't. What does he do now?
Sure. So that kind of leads us into the next phase, which is closing. We'll talk about that. All right. So before we get into closing, there's a concept that we need to cover, and we call that posture. And I think I've mentioned this once before already, but posture is how we define it. Now, we had heard posture for years, and as the belief in what you have, regardless of external acceptance or approval. Okay. And so I just got a message pop up. You guys okay? You can hear me? Everything all right?
Yeah, you're still good.
All right. So posture is the belief in what you have, regardless of external acceptance or approval. So if I say, hey, I'm doing this new thing, and someone says, that thing sucks, I'm going to say, all right, whatever, it's your opinion. I got to get out of here, right? I'm just not affected. Bullets bounce off me. The criticism, just whatever, right? And I saw a great quote. I think it's from Oscar Wilde, but he said, a cynic knows the price of everything and the value of nothing, right? So they know the price of everything is. And then there's another one by, I forget who said this, Fagin, I think. But it was a poor person can't afford to buy cheap things. And so, that person that buys that cheap, jalopy car that keeps breaking down and actually costs them a whole lot more than it actually cost them, well, they can't afford that. They better buy something that has good maintenance and a good track record. It might cost a little bit more, but it makes sense. And by the way, sometimes free is the most expensive option. I kind of, learned real estate through free methods, and that did not prepare me for the tough times. And so it cost me lots of money. Had I, like I took on in this profession, I started hiring coaches. I started buying courses right away. And that's why, I think we've been able to adapt a lot better. But let me just give you some examples, because I always like to give exact examples. So when you're having a conversation with someone, and this could be through Facebook Messenger, this could be a phone call, could be face-to-face, could be, text message, whatever. You're kind of, this is kind of the deal, right? You may not know if they're open to your deal or not. And, you just don't know the deal. So you're like, hey, you open and taking a look at my deal? And now, based on their reaction is what my reaction will be. Okay. So some people, they are just oblivious to the other person. And so they're just like, this is what I say, this is what I do, this is what, and they're just oblivious to the however the other person is reacting to them. So let me give you an example of non-posture. So let's say, you start the conversation like this, and you're like, hey, are you open to my thing? I'm doing this new thing, and it's health and wellness. It's amazing. And they say, oh my God, that's one of those things that totally sucks. Oh man, you're going to prison. That's a scam. And so they're kind of leaning away from you, right? They're not interested on the edge of their seat. They're like, get the hell out of here. You know, no way, Jose. Well, the amateur will lean in. No, you don't understand, man. No, it's awesome. It's got a, you know, this amazing binary, and it's got, you know, triple comp plan. You can earn a Beamer, and you can, blah, 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 blah. And so this is a complete lack of posture. It's you're convincing, and convincing, just to define that too, convincing is attempting to get someone to do something for your benefit, okay? Persuasion, very different. Persuasion is getting someone to do something they already want to do for their benefit. That's a pretty good definition, I would say, right? So if I have a weight loss product and I'm talking to someone who would love to lose weight, then persuading them is getting them to see the benefits of my product, getting them to move forward, which they really want to do anyway, and it's for their benefit. Now, I'll happen to benefit through commissions or, you know, bonuses or whatever else, but it's a difference. Convincing, getting you to do something that's my benefit, persuading, getting something, you already want to do it. You already want to provide better for your family. You already want to travel the world. You already want to have better leads. You already want to have better hair. You already want to look better, okay? So it's just getting them to do what they already want to do for their benefit, to help them out, because you focused on benefits, what it does, not what it is, okay? Or what it does for me, right? My buddy Bob Berg says, no one cares about your sales quota. Some people, I mean, I see people operate their teams like that. Hey team, I'm close to the next rank. Y'all buy some stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness, man, that's just so terrible. And so in this situation, what would a postured person say? Now, I'll tell you that you should not have it a goal to close every person you ever talk to, because you're not gonna. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I don't care how good you are. And I've Doug, Greg, you guys know, I've recruited some pretty solid recruiters. They don't recruit everyone either. No one does. No one recruits everyone. And so, you know, you shouldn't have that as a goal. It's unrealistic. And so if I'm in a, let's just say health and wellness in this example. So let's say I'm in a health and wellness, you know, network marketing business, and I say to somebody, hey, I'm doing this new health and wellness. Are you open to taking a look at it? If not, no big deal, right? And I just gave you my 2 steps for communication. And that's, are you open, and give them an out. If you're open to it, great. If not, no big deal. Those 2 steps, I'd always have in all communications. Hey, I'm doing this new thing. Are you open to taking a look? If not, no big deal. And people that I knew, I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna do this with or without you. I'd love to do it with you. If you're open to it, great. If not, no big deal. Okay. So I'm not hinged on your answer. I'm gonna go do it anyway. I'd love to do it with you. Let's lock arms. Let's make it happen if you're open to it. And if not, don't worry about it. Okay. And so in this example, if I say, hey, I'm doing this health and wellness, are you open to take a look at it? If not, no big deal. And they say, oh man, it's one of those scams. You know, my brother lost all their money to one of those darn things. And I'm going to do this. Okay. I'm going to say, cool. Well, hey, not a fit for everybody. Hey, listen, I got to run. I got a conference call to jump on, but hey, best of luck to you. Now, when people don't see you dance, right? When someone is negative, or they're, cynical, skeptical, or whatever. Now, and you don't dance to their beat, they, like in the old Westerns where they shoot, dance, boy, they shoot at your feet, and you don't dance. You're just like, hey man, I'm out of here. It's totally cool. You can have your opinion. It's all good, right? And you're willing to walk away. And a lot of people, that's like, wait a minute, man, he didn't even flinch. He didn't even flinch. And a lot of times they will become more upright and say, well, what is this thing? Because their minds are just messed up. Now, if they don't, that's okay. If they're not affected at all by me pulling away, then I would call them a no way Jose, at least for now, right? They're a no way Jose. Let's not spend a lot of time with them. Let's move on and go find someone else, okay? And so I'll manage this in all areas. And so hey, if you have an amazing, funnel that does the selling for you, which I think very few network marketing companies have, but if you have that sort of thing and rock and roll, awesome. I'm more talking about where there's at least some kind of conversation that you're having with someone before they make a decision. And so the kind of timeline for me is I want to use a tool, okay? And for me, my favorite was just a video. Let's just pretend that's a play button, right? And so I wanted to get eyeballs on this video, right? Have them seen a video, right? I want them to see a video because that equips me with enough to close, right? And that doesn't mean I close every single person, doesn't mean that any of you will close every single person, okay? But it gives me enough information. I can use this intelligence. And so if let's run the full gamut here. Let me see if I can find one that I didn't talk about. Okay, so let's say, let's say that I did a Facebook Live on 4 tips to make more money on social media, right? And I want to sell Finish Line Network, okay? And so 4 tips to make more money on social media. And I say, number 1, clean up your profile. Don't have the name of your company, name of your product all over your profile so they can just Google it and buy from somebody else, or Google it and find that blogger in North Dakota that says it's a scam, right? And you kick puppies and worship the devil, right? So let's avoid that. Step number 2, step number 3, step number 4. And step number 4 is you want to get with a tried and true system. You want to get with the right kind of mentors, the right kind of coaches. That's so critical. And if you have a system you're working with, awesome, that's so cool. But if you're looking for something, I've happened upon one, and I'm happy to give you a trial run of it, or I'm happy to share with you more information. Reach out to me if you'd like to know. Okay, straightforward so far. So I've led with how to make money on social media, given them some tips. The last tip is something to get them to reach out to me. And so people reach out to me and say, hey man, you talked about making money on social media. You said you had some kind of system. Tell me more about that. Cool. Well, the fastest, most efficient way for you to do that is just watch this quick video. Watch this quick video here. And so I'll point them to the video and I'll say, now, how soon can you watch this video? Well, I can watch it, later today. Well, I'm pretty busy, right? I'm always going to be busy. Even my day is wide open. I'm always going to position myself as busy. People like to be around busy people. Now, some people would say, well, if you're busy, don't you think they'll think that you don't have time for them? Just not how it works. It's just not how it works. Trust me on this, be busy. And so I'm going to say, well, I'm pretty busy today, but tell you what, I could follow up with you like either 6:15 or 6:45. Will you have watched it by then? Okay. And so they say, let's say they say yes. And so here's like the different combination of sequences that could happen. All right. So let's say they agreed that by 6:45, they will have watched the video. I said, how soon? Notice I didn't say when. When can you watch it? I say, how soon? How soon can you watch it? They tell me and I say, I'm pretty busy today, but I could do either 6:15 or 6:45. Okay. So you know what? 6:45, definitely gonna watch it. Okay, cool. So reach out to them and I'm going to say, I don't need to draw anything for this. Did you watch the video? Okay. And let's say they say, no, man, I had to pressure wash my driveway. I had to, clean the goldfish tank. I had to whatever. They come up with some baloney. I, got my grilled cheese stuck in the toaster, whatever. They're making it just, full of baloney. And so if they say, no, I didn't, here's what the amateur does. The amateur says, you said, right? They wag their finger. You said that you watched it, right? And the rolling pin, strategy doesn't work, right? You and curlers with a rolling pin, you said that you take out the trash, right? That doesn't work for closing. You need to be postured, okay? So if I reach out to somebody and they say, I didn't watch the video, I'm gonna say, cool, no problem. I'm gonna pull away, okay? So I'm now gonna pull away a little bit and I'm gonna say, cool, no problem. Hey, listen, I hope you understand, but I gotta prioritize my time. I got a bunch of people that did watch the video, but tell you what, I'm pretty swamped, but I should be able to reach out to you sometime next week. Now, for most people, they're not used to that response. That response is a little wild to them. They're not used to someone actually being, not at their beck and call and say, oh, when can we watch the videos, right? They're so used to just, wussies that, you know, that it was just, oh, when you get pretty, right? And so when you're not like that, it stands out. And I've had people, like I've done this over the phone. I've done it through Facebook Messenger. I've done it through different things. I've done it where I was on the phone. And I'm like, yeah, I hope you understand. I've got to prioritize my time. I got a lot of people that did watch the video. I just got to reach out to them. I could reach out to you maybe in the next week or so. And I go to hang up and it's like, wait. And I can hear it as I'm pulling the, you know, the phone away. Wait. And I say, yeah, tell you what, I can watch it tonight. Is there any way possible you could get back? So I'll create a little bit of urgency, a little bit of scarcity of them wanting to watch the video now more than they did originally, okay? And so that's a possibility. Now, if they say, if I say, hey, did you watch the video? And they say, yes, I'm gonna say, what did you like best about what you saw? Now, I'm gonna say that no matter what they say. So I remember when we were building our network marketing business, I remember, you know, many examples, but one, you know, kind of stands out. I had, you know, I reached out to someone and they, you know, told me they would have watched the video. And I said, hey, did you watch the video? And they said, yes. And I have some questions and I have some concerns about that company. And I said, okay, great, fantastic. Well, what did you like best about what you saw? Now, most people would say, well, what questions do you have? How can I help? Oh, good, right? They would just sit there and let them ramble on about questions. They joined, that was years ago. I still don't know their questions. The ability to answer questions does not make you a closer, right? And so they said, I got questions and I got some concerns about this company. And I said, great. Well, I'm just curious, what did you like best about what you saw? Okay. And I'm going to listen. And this can be, I know a lot of people really like using Facebook Messenger because they're, you know, scaredy birds of the phone. And so do what you can, you know, you can do this kind of, it's not as powerful because it's not as real time, but you can do this kind of stuff through Facebook Messenger. But I want meat to this answer. Okay. And so if I say, what'd you like best about what you saw? And they say, well, you know, I really like the idea of making money. Well, okie doke, let's sign you up. No. That's not enough information. That's not powerful enough. So I'm going to say, well, why is that important to you? Well, what will you do with more money? You know, how long have you been trying to make more money? Have you been in, you know, a home business before? Like I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to, you know, give me some more meat, give me some more ammunition. And, you know, why is that important to you? Well, it's important to me because of this. And I'll tell you, I got lots of examples of this too, but you know, one that I like to talk about is I remember talking to this guy and he watched the video and he actually, well, I'll cut the story short, but I said, you know, he said, I wanted to make money, right? And I said, well, you know, a lot of people would like to make more money. Why do you want to make more money? And he's like, you know, I just need to make more money. I'm like, okay, well, you know, why? You know, why do you need to make more money? And he said, well, I have 4 teenage daughters and their whole life I've given them everything that they've ever asked for. I love them with all my heart. I want to do anything I possibly can for them. And I know that, you know, some of them are coming up to, you know, for their weddings and, you know, it's customary for, you know, the bride's side to pay for the weddings. And man, I can't even imagine giving them their dream weddings. And so I'm like, well, how important is that to you? I had to say it without laughing, right? Because like, I know, right? I mean, back then I had 2 boys, now I have a daughter. Now I really know, you know, how important, you know, paying for a dream wedding is, right? And so, you know, I said, well, how important is that to you? And I swear to God, I think the guy was ready to put on a ski mask and go rob somebody, all right? So I like to think that I saved a bank teller that day by recruiting him. And so, you know, if you, but see, if I had just said, well, what'd you like about it? Ooh, I want to make money, right? I never would have gotten to that kind of psychological requirement, right? And so, and I did something else there in that I said, you know, why do you want to make money? Why is that important to you? And I got him to say, talk about his daughters, talk about their weddings and how important that was to him. And I said, well, if you don't do this, how will you come up with that money? And see, that's kind of it's kind of a trick, to be honest, because when you give someone the entire world, they can think of nothing, right? So if I say, who do you know? And you'll say, I mean, you know lots of people, right? You know, they say that the average person knows like 2,000 people. But if I say, who do you know? You're like, but if I say, who do you know that's a realtor? You're like, oh, yeah, this. And so when I say, well, if you don't do this, which is the thing that they've been focused on energetically and you know, in their mind, if you don't do this, then how will you come up with it? Well, there's a million different ways, but they can't think of any of them. And so the only conclusion is to move forward. Now, I've had people that, you know, maybe you say, hey, did you watch the video? And they say, yeah. What'd you like about it? Nothing. Well, I still have information on my side. I've recruited a lot of people that hated the video. They said, that video is terrible, right? It's horrible. I can't believe you had me watch that piece of crap. And I still have data on my side, though, because they watched the video. And so all I have to do in that scenario, so if they watch the video, okay, here they are, you know, they watch the video, okay, and they say, I hate that video. Well, all I have to do is say, well, why did you watch the video? What were you hoping to see? What were you hoping to gain? Like, you know, what do you wish was in that video? What were you hoping would benefit your life? And I have never, not one time, in asking this hundreds and hundreds of times, not one time have I had someone say, well, I was hoping it would grow back my limb. I was hoping that I would grow a horn and it'd be like right here, I'd get wings and I'd just fly around the city and attack bystanders, right? Like I've never had anybody give me an answer that this couldn't actually help with. They'll say, well, I was hoping I could do it part-time, or I was hoping that I didn't have to be married, or I was hoping that, you know, I could do this on my breaks, you know, like it's usually around time. It's usually around money. I was hoping I could do it without a huge investment. Like they'll say, I've never, not one time had someone say, I wish it did something magical or weird that nothing would ever do. They've always answered with something it could do. And I'll just say, well, you know what? The video may not do a good job of relaying that, but it actually does help with that. It actually helps people make money part-time. I mean, most people do start part-time. And I'm gonna use words like, you know, typically, usually, clearly, honestly, obviously. I'm gonna use those kind of words to make it like, hey, it's okay that, you know, you didn't necessarily like the video. A lot of people do like the video, but what you want to accomplish can be accomplished through what it is that we're doing. And so I've recruited a lot of people didn't like the video. And I think most people, if they're like, didn't like the video, they immediately call their upline. Almost like there's a trophy for it. You know, they're like, hey, upline, nobody likes the video after one person, you know, pipes up their 2-cent opinion. Right? Well, instead of fighting for your loss, instead of trying to say, give me the loser trophy, instead just ask a couple more questions and say, you know what? You took the time out of your busy schedule to watch this video. Why? Why did you do that? You know, why did you take time? And there's lots of other things. You could be watching Dances with the Stars. You could be, you know, playing, you know, trivia. You could be throwing darts somewhere. But instead, you watched this video. What made you watch it? What were you hoping to see? Okay. And asking those simple questions have allowed us to, you know, to bring people in that otherwise probably wouldn't have been in. Now, if everything is going as planned, okay, and so the person that asked, they said, hey, someone said they were ready to join, and then I reached out to them, and then now it's crickets. They've disappeared, okay? And so 2 things that I'll throw out for that is, number 1, always have posture. Don't need them, okay? Don't require them. Don't require their response. Don't require their credit card. Don't require them to approve of it, accept of it, agree with it. Don't require any of that stuff, okay? And so if someone is what I call a stringer honor, then I give them less and less time. Like if someone is constantly like Charlie Browning me, you know, where they hold the football and they whip it out from under you and you're like, whoa. If someone's constantly Charlie Browning me saying, I'm ready to join now, seriously though, wee. And, you know, then I'm just going to spend less and less time with them and believe in them less and less and less. And so I just don't spend a ton of time with them, but I want them to get that I'm not hinging all my bets on them joining, that I'm busy. And so if I'm hearing crickets, I'm going to say, hey, at one point in time, you said you were ready to join, which is totally cool. Hey, if you're not now, totally cool. I got a lot of people that are interested. I got a lot of people I'm working with. Hey, tell you what, hit me up when you're ready, man, because I got to go run over here and focus on the people that are rocking and rolling. See, again, you know, that's that posture. That's me kicking in. I don't require your acceptance, approval, or agreement. I don't require your response. I don't require you to move forward, even though you told me you would. Don't require it. And I'm not going to nag you. I'm not going to, you know, curlers in my hair with a rolling pin and say, well, come you didn't. You said you would. Right? I'm not going to do that stuff. I'm going to be on it. I'm out the door. I got people to talk to. I got, you know, people to help that actually want help, that actually have integrity, that keep their word. I want to go this way. You want to do something, fine. So that's the first thing I'll do is I try to do a posture adjustment. And then the second thing I do is I would put them into my, my way of following up. And so my way of follow up is I follow up until they pass away. All right. And so if I read their obituary, then I stop following up because that's just kind of weird and rude and a waste of time. And so now the only exception is if they are nasty to me, then they've lost the privilege of working with me. And, you know, if someone's like just cursing me out, you son of a bee, whatever, then I don't want to work. I don't want your energy around my team, right? So my team, you know, when we were building our network marketing business, our team was our family. So do you just bring anyone home to meet Ma, you know, or are you kind of like, you know, let's make sure these people are cool before we bring them home to Ma. And I don't want just anybody in my house. I don't want just anybody in my family. If they're negative and cursing me out, then there's something wrong with them, don't want them in. I will permanent marker them off the list. But in the absence of that, then I'm going to put them up on the follow up until they pass away. But here's how I do it, okay? So the most powerful way that I can tell you a follow up is okay, is hitting them with an update deflection, okay? So an update is something that has happened to you, to the company, to one of your teammates, to someone in the organization, to something. And a deflection is the acknowledgement that it may not be them, but maybe they know somebody, okay? So here's what some of mine have looked like over the years. So I remember, and it's funny because I was doing an event in Fort Myers, I think last December maybe, and I was teaching this concept, and a guy that I've known for years said, he raised his hand, yeah, and
I think we've got Ray on freeze.
he had text message there.
Hey, Ray, when you come back, buddy, you got a little frozen there for a second.
He's back, Doug. Doug, he's back. Go ahead, Ray.
Back? Okay. So Dean shows his phone, and from 2009 to like 2015, he had messages from me every 60, 90 days, little text messages. And so it was things like, hey, Dean, hey, man, I know this isn't a fit for you, but I just want to cruise. Do you know anyone that likes to do cruising? And by the way, it's earn a cruise. I shouldn't say one, but I earned a cruise with that company I told you about. I know it's not a fit for you, but do you know anybody that likes to cruise? Okay, so that was one of them. Dean, hey, man, we're having a get together and we got some awesome people coming over. We're going to talk about business and stuff. And you may want to bring some business cards. You want to swing by tonight, right? Dean, and it's just year after year after year after year. Now, I didn't care that he didn't respond. He didn't respond, I don't think hardly any of them. I just didn't care. And, you know, you may think that, well, isn't that out of posture? And, you know, isn't that you chasing them? I'm not addicted to the outcome. I really don't care. And I've had people that I've put in that kind of system, and on year 2, they join, and year 3, they're a 6-figure earner. I've had multiple people, and that's no joke, multiple people that I followed up with for years that before they actually joined, that ended up being extremely successful. And so I didn't just, you know, people that I would follow up with if I felt like they had good networks and there were people that, you know, nowadays everyone's wanting new leads, new leads, new leads, new leads, and you're missing out on some people that, you know, would join you if you just followed up with them a little bit more. And so the update is something cool, right? Hey, we just launched in Britain. Hey, my friend just lost 11 pounds. Hey, I just went to the high school reunion and people said that I look younger than I did in high school, right? There's lots of updates that you can use. Doesn't have to be you, could be one of your teammates, could even be someone in, you know, in the entire organization, not even in your organization, right? And not even in your team, but in your company, right? And a deflection of, I know it's not fit for you, but do you know anyone that does want to make some extra money? Do you know anyone that does want to have more energy? Do you know anyone that does want to, you know, build their business using social media? Let me know, man. Right? So update deflection is, for me, the best way of following up. And so I want to leave, I know I've been going pretty strong here. I want to leave some time for questions. And so, you know, we kind of weaved into, we talked a little bit about, you know, leadership thinking bigger. Trying to think for those of you, if you're on here and you are making good money, but you're stuck. Like, you know, maybe you're stuck at 100,000 a month or 250,000 a month or whatever, or whatever, wherever you're stuck, you're stuck. If you are making good money, but it just doesn't seem to be increasing, it doesn't seem to be growing, then there's a very good chance that it has to do with one of three things. Number one, if your work ethic has gone from I'm hustling to make it happen to I've arrived, then, you know, that's kind of the deal, right? There's a lot of people that arrive at a certain point. As an entrepreneur, I went full-time entrepreneur in 2005. It took me 8 years to have my first $1 million year. But that very next year we doubled it. And the year after that, we doubled that. And so, like, I can tell you that, you know, to get to, you know, some of the larger incomes, it can take you a good amount of time, but once you get there, it's actually a lot easier and faster to get to next levels. It's actually harder and longer to go from 0 to 1,000 a month than it is 1,000 to 10,000. And I know that mathematically that doesn't really make sense, but, you know, I don't know your exact excuses of why you're not, if you haven't gotten to 1,000, but if you're at 1,000, I can very easily tell you how to get to 10,000. Okay. And so understand that. But either one, if you're stuck at a large income, one, you've changed your work ethic. Best thing you can do for your team is build a new one. Now, that doesn't mean ignore your existing one, but it means show them how it's done and inspire them with your activity. Okay, number one. Or number two, it may have to do with your culture. And culture is, and again, we couldn't find a definition for this of how we, you know, of the context of network marketing, but culture is the making of people to feel good regardless of their level of desire or level of result. Okay. And most leaders are what we would call 5%ers. And, you know, and I learned this straight from one of our good buddies, and actually he was one of our clients, Larry Thompson, been in the industry for 50 years. And so a 5%er wants to make $25,000 or more a month. That's their level of desire. Well, 80% of any organization is happy making $0 to $500 a month. Now, the leader doesn't understand that, doesn't compute, right? They don't, why wouldn't they want to make $1 million? Well, why doesn't the secretary of 27 years want to move to middle management? Because it's not their level of desire. You just don't want to, right? You know, why does the person that goes to the gym not flip tires and rip phone books and get all diesel? Because that's not their level of desire. That's just not. But in, you know, in network marketing and home business, it's like, well, everyone should want to make millions of dollars, but that's just not their level of desire. And so if you can create a culture that makes people feel good, regardless of their level of desire or level of results, then you will have an extremely sustainable organization. I know people that have been on auto ship of $250 a month for 30 years, never made a dime, but you couldn't put a gun to their head and get them off of auto ship. It ain't going to happen. You know, if you did put a gun to them, they may fake cancel, but they're going to sign up their neighbor. And they're going to say, hey, man, just bring it over. Just drop it in the back porch, man. You know, they're not going to get off. It's not going to happen. And so that's culture, where people feel good regardless of the level of desired results. Now, most leaders, they don't understand that. And so they do one of two things. They either beat up the people if I go to the gym and the gym owner jumps out from behind the counter and says, "Hey, Ray, man, lift your shirt up, boy," right? If he tells me to lift my shirt up and he starts criticizing my results, well, I'm probably not going to stay at that gym. I'm probably going to say, well, maybe this isn't a fit for me. If he starts desire, well, what's wrong with you? I mean, how long am I going to continue to pay a membership for that? And so making people feel good wherever they are so that they stick around longer, and they may move to the next step. You never know. But those are the two kind of big deals there. But I want to roll it to you, Michael, or whoever.
Let me
this is helpful, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what, guys? You guys have been hanging on here. I can tell you right now, Ray, I mean, we've got, still close to 550 people here hanging with you for almost 2 hours. So that alone tells me the value is there. Everybody wants to buy baby supplements from you. That's a given already. But yeah, this is really good stuff. I do want to open this up for some questions, some more questions. We've got some in here I'm going to ask Ray, but I'm also going to launch a poll in here too while everybody is on. So you guys can complete that poll as well while you're still on here. But let's open this up for some questions, Ray. I'm going to ask a couple here that I thought were really pertinent in regards specifically to Finish Line Network. We are selling online marketing, educational tools, email profits on demand and stuff. So specifically in the digital marketing or digital education niche, what advice would you have for promoting those type of educational products?
Just ask yourself, what do people want? And I would, a lot of people would make the mistake of marketing to learners, right? And this is a more advanced marketing psychology. So some people would say, learn blank, 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 right? So learn the right way to write a headline. Learn the 4 traffic tips to your blog, right? And so any marketplace will have maybe 5 to 9% learners, okay, of people that they want to learn. And so they'll be attracted to stuff like this. There's a much larger audience that wants the benefits of what that would do, okay? So you want to learn how to make money on demand. You want to learn how to print money from your computer. You want to be able to travel the world at your convenience with who you want. Like, there are more people that want that sort of thing that you could take them, through the process of saying, well, to do that, you need to learn copywriting. To do that, you need to learn marketing, right? But by leading with learning, you can certainly attract people. It just won't be as large a percentage of people of those who want the actual results. And so if you are marketing, Finish Line educational kind of platform, it's, how to properly use social media, so the right people come to you and you're able to make money from home, right? I mean, that's an example. Just think of what is the benefits? Why did you join? Did you join to be a learner? And if you did, that's fine. Then it would be very natural for you to say, learn how to write a good headline, learn how to, make more money from your emails, learn how to do Facebook Lives, right? You'll attract the learners. And that's always a percentage of the marketplace. But, that's the thing. What do people want to learn? And you can talk about those things. So you got unlimited. There's so many different things that people would like to learn. I would just encourage you to paint just a little bit different, a little bit bigger picture. Okay. So what does it mean if you get good at headlines? It means that you can sell anything you want, wherever you want, any time of day. And so, I would encourage you to, think a little bit bigger around those kind of things. Yeah,
that's a great response there in terms of really expanding and adding upon what it is.
And let me clarify, I'm a learner, okay? But I'm saying, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm not a learner. I'm a learner, but I'm saying that anyone on here actually is more than likely a learner, but there's a very large population out there. So if I went to, let me think of somebody here. So one time I had my aunt in a network marketing business. And if I went to my aunt and I said, hey aunt, would you like to learn how to, how to make money in network marketing? She would have said, no, thanks, right? She's not really a learner. I don't know if she's picked up a book, right, ever. And so, but if I said, hey, would you like to?
It's like Ray did freeze up there.
And learners think everyone is learners. And that's just not the case. A lot of people, they don't care to learn the meal plan, but they care to have a six-pack. They don't care to know, the details of your shampoo, but they want to impress their ex-boyfriend. And so, just understanding the difference there. You don't always have to lead with just education.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. From Warren here, when you were talking about posturing, how would you best determine that when communicating solely through digital methods like messaging and stuff? What's the best way to determine your prospect's posture?
I mean, just if they're, with what they're typing, obviously, and with their, responses, if they aren't responding in any kind of urgency or any kind of way, then I know that I probably don't have the power in that conversation. So I want to actually be busier. Now, most people would try to convince harder, and that's the lack of posture. I wouldn't do that. And so just, like, for example, we teach in Rate Makers that, if someone hasn't responded to you in 4 days or more, reach out to them and say, hey, I just want to apologize. I've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to follow up with you. How are you? Right. So is that what would be a non-postured response? So if someone hasn't responded to you in 4 days or more, a non-postured response would be like, hey, are you there? Hello, right? That means that I'm just clinging to your every word, and I sure hope you grace me with your presence. No, I've been busy, right? Even though you didn't respond to me, I'll make you think that that was on me. Sorry, but I've been so busy, man. I haven't had a chance to follow. How are you? And I'm trying to take them from a non-respondent to a respondent, and then we can have, a conversation. And so you can manage that by looking at the timeliness of their responses and, of course, what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I also do a ton of recruiting through messaging. Probably 90% of all my recruiting and product sales are through messaging. And one thing I've noticed a pattern on is if my messages are like a sentence or too long and theirs are 1 or 2 words, then that's a real good indication to me that they're just not even connected to what I'm saying at all and not even interested in it. And you kind of look at the size of your message versus their response.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to put it. So I'm going to pull away. So I'll give you an example. So like, we'll teach people how to do story posts or curiosity posts to get people to reach out to them. Okay. So kind of like the guy, or the, whoever watching the video, that's good information for me to have. I can use just that information right there. So if I do a story post or a curiosity post and someone reaches out to me, I can say, before I pitch them anything, I can say, hey, what made you reach out? I can call upon their action. Hey, what made you reach out? Where, I appreciate you reaching out. What made you reach out? I'm just curious. What grabbed you? Well, I was hoping to blah, blah, blah. But if they respond with like, right? Or if they respond with, bored, right? Like if they give me some crappy response, then I'm not going to launch into eager beaver mode and now it's time to close them. I'm going to say, well, cool. Well, hey, if you got a second, let me know what grabbed you and why you're reaching out. But hey, listen, I got to talk to some people here, but I'll be back here in about 45 minutes. I'm gonna delay. I'm gonna say this really isn't a priority to me. So if you want to respond back with something more, let me know. I don't want to move forward out of weakness, and that's what a lot of people do. They get a mouth breather, and this one breathes oxygen, and so they think that they got a sale, and they're buying the they're putting in the pool in the backyard already, and they haven't received a check yet. They haven't made a sale. And so I want to see, if their response is crap, very much like you said, if it's, very short, then I want to do better posturing.
Yeah, absolutely. You had mentioned the Go for No book. Jim was wanting to know if there's a couple other books you might recommend that kind of expound or further go into what you've talking about today.
So, I mean, we have our book, of course. We have this one for social media, at least. We have Freakishly Effective Social Media for Network Marketing. We sell the heck out of that. That's one. I don't know if it's around sales or marketing that they're asking.
It's probably around marketing from what the question was posed as.
I mean, marketing, my mind is kind of going blank here. What do I like marketing wise? I like 80-20 by Perry Belcher, I believe. Or no, Perry Marshall. I like Perry Marshall's 80-20 Sales and Marketing. That's a good one. I'm not thinking of good marketing books.
Yeah, those are great suggestions, actually.
What's that?
No, those are both great suggestions. Did you have one more?
Yeah. No, but I did see a question that said, hey, would it make sense to go hand out flyers at the unemployment line? I can tell you that one way to think about that sort of scenario is I'm not saying not to, and I'm not saying that it's a bad idea that you shouldn't give someone a shot or anything like that. But most people need something because they didn't do something. And I know that may sound judgmental or that may sound bad or whatever, but the people that really need money, it's often because they didn't make the right choices. And I always wanted to prospect up. I wanted to reach out to people who were more connected than me, who had more friends, who had more connections. I wanted to prospect up. And you'll find that the more you prospect to those who really need it, you're going to find the most cynical, the most skeptical, the most closed-minded people most of the times. Now, that's not everyone. I mean, hey, I was dead broke, $1 million in debt and personal foreclosure, but I didn't wear that on my sleeve. People didn't know that actually. And so I would be cautious to focus your marketing around people who really need money, because those are people that often, even though you're trying to give them a break, they accuse you of taking advantage. And
You froze up there for a second, Ray. I think you might be back now. Mary had a question. How much time should you spend with a brand new person that they just recruited to get them up and running?
So just know that with everything that if you're assuming you're in network marketing, everything that you do is being analyzed. And so a lot of people, they think that the more time I spend with my new person, the greater their chance of success. Well, let's just say you spend 4 hours, right? Let's get crazy. Let's say you spend 4 hours with your new rep. Well, guess what they think they have to do? They think they have to spend 4 hours with anyone they recruit. Guess who doesn't have 4 hours? Anybody. Nobody has 4 hours. And so you, by your caring, altruistic, let me help somebody out nature, could absolutely be sabotaging that single mom, that disabled veteran, that person that needs a shot, by you overly, leading them. And so I want to equip them with things like, all I do is this. I just point people to this video and I see if they're open or not. And if they aren't, that's okay, right? I want them to see how little time I spend with prospects, and how if someone does join, I send them to a fast start video, answer a couple questions, smack them on the rear end, and get them going. And so I don't want them to think that it's some humongous amount of time and that shows that I care. There's a great, something I heard, I forget who said this, but The word nice. Nice stands for nothing inside me cares enough. And so if I'm nice and I spend a whole bunch of time with my new baby bear rep, then I'm being nice, but I'm actually hosing them, because now they think they have to spend that amount of time with people, and they probably don't have that amount of time. So people will sabotage the recruiting if they don't think they can do what you can do. And so that's why I don't, if I'm building a network marketing organization, I'm not giving a one-on-one presentation. I'm pointing to a video, because I don't want them to think they have to do one-on-one presentations. I want them to just say, all I do is I point people to the video, and some like it, some don't. That's all I do. I don't want them to think I'm an expert. I'm not going to say I'm a best-selling author, look at me. I'm not going to say those things. I'm going to say, hey, listen, when I joined this, I didn't know exactly what I was doing, and all I do is I point people to videos. Some like it, some don't. I collect a decision, and they pay me. I want them to say, man, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's what I want to get across. I don't want them to be impressed with the amount of time I spend with them. I want them to be impressed with how simple the system appears to be, and that they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so true. And just to give you some real, world validation on that, the moment I started directing people to a quick start guide instead of sitting on the phone and kind of still, you were talking about you controlling the conversation in the prospecting phase. You need to continue that in through the training phase and directing them to where you want to do, but you got to set that expectation right from the beginning when you're getting them going, is from what I'm hearing you say there.
For sure. For sure.
Awesome. Very cool. Let me see. Let's try to take one more question here. Trishana says, how do you best leverage the power of internet if you are just starting out in network marketing and can't afford all the expensive tools out there?
I mean, you don't need much. You go with what you have. And so I never went to my team and said, okay, guys, let's set up your blog and your podcast and your fancy mic and all this stuff. I mean, you got Facebook, you can make a killing. I know, one of our friends, Whitney, I mean, she built a team of 300,000 people using Facebook without even an email list. I mean, she doesn't have an autoresponder. She doesn't have anything. And, makes over $1 million a year. And so, all you have to be willing to do is you got to be willing to do the work. And so I can just do this. And so, do a Facebook Live, get people to, reach out to you. So you do this, Facebook Live, which doesn't cost you anything. Instead of pointing them to a website, right? Instead of that, you just tell them, hey, send me a private message if you'd like my 7-day meal plan. Hey, send me a private message if you'd like my 14 tips to get more traffic to your website. Hey, send me a private message if you want the 4 ingredients to avoid in shampoo, whatever. And you get them to send you a private message, and in that private message, you have conversations to lead. I think a lot of people rely too much on fancy. They rely too much on funnels and automated emails and autoresponders and all these different things. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't work, because it certainly can work depending on your product service opportunity, but this absolutely works. I don't care what your product service or opportunity is. This works. And it's funny because I saw someone say, well, hey, how much phone would you do if you're selling digital products, dude? I mean, I remember when we no longer have an affiliate program for our courses and training, but when we did, I remember one guy won big contests, made a lot of money. And we asked him, we're like, how did you do this? He's like, oh man, I did a post, and anyone that liked it, I reached out to him and got on the phone with him. And he closed like closed like hundreds of sales. And all these other people were trying to do it fancy schmats, and they weren't able to beat him in that particular context. Headlines to pick, what titles, what education, what energy to bring, your being on camera, whatever. You may have to work on those different things, but it doesn't cost you much. I've seen way more people spend money out of weakness because they're not willing to get better at talking to human beings And so they think, you know what, I don't want to get better talking to human beings, so I'm just going to buy this. And so they buy that, whatever it is. Well, guess what? You're still dealing with human beings. So get better at communication, and then all of this stuff works even better, but you don't require it to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. Being resourceful with the tools that you already have. I mean, like, that's so awesome, Ray, to just focus on what you already have and leverage those rather than just being sold on some fancy tool out there. That's really good. So, Ray, is there anything else you want to add here? I know your time is valuable, and we've gone 2 hours here, and we really, really value and appreciate your time. This poll is coming back so high on the barometer of priceless value content. Very, very helpful. So you have certainly brought the goods and gave us stuff that is absolutely gold.
Cool. Yeah, you know, I mean, I guess I'd just say, you know, good luck to you guys, and, you know, stick with this thing, you know, stick with, you know, whatever it is that you're doing. If you believe in the product, the service, the opportunity, you believe in it, then just keep going, you know, start, you know, have patience, embrace those 2 words I talk about, you know, until and despite, you know, show up until. And, you know, my buddy Mark, he used to say this, you know, in any kind of opportunity, you know, there's going to be people that when they enter that opportunity, they're on the 1-yard line and they just like tiptoe into the end zone and they score, right? And they crush it. And these are the envy of so many people. They're like, well, how come they walked in yesterday and they're making $1 million? There's going to be those people. There's going to be people that come in and they're maybe at the 50-yard line, and they gotta do some work, man. They gotta show up. They gotta work on themselves. They gotta hone their skills, but they can eventually get there. And there's some people that can't even see the stadium, right? They got binoculars and like, which road is this? They're at the gas station, like, oh, it takes 75. Like, what do I do? But know that regardless of your past, your history, whether you've, you know, unfortunately had jail time, whether you've failed in a bunch of different stuff, whether you've been bankrupt, been in foreclosure, been debt broke, been $1 million in debt, had child abuse, been addicted to drugs, all of those different things, that doesn't dictate your future. You can create success from wherever you are with whatever you've dealt with, whatever that looks like to you. And so I would just say, keep going. And obviously I'm rooting for you guys, you know, finish line. So I hope you guys crush it, and, you know, we'll be rooting for you. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in today.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate that you guys are on here still. I'm going to give you some direction here and a little strategy to use here to go out and further market your Finish Line Network business here. So hang with me for just a second. But Ray, I really, really appreciate everything you brought there for us today, for sure. Thank you very much.
Good hanging with you.
Appreciate it, Ray. So guys that are still on here, what'd you guys think of that? I see the poll here coming in. It was phenomenal in terms of what he just broke down there. So much information there in a 2-hour piece, which I absolutely love that he was able to break all that value content